And welcome back to NewsWire. Before we douse you with a lot of NFL and college football talk, let's finish off and get ready for the weekend in the NBA, because truly speaking, this is pretty much center stage for the NBA from after this week through the end of the NBA season. Coach Young is here with us as we'll take a look at the second season of the National Basketball Association. What will it be for the New York Knicks, Coach? I mean, the Knicks were phenomenal for like a while. Now, all of a sudden, they've seemingly hit the skids, losing to the Kings, last night losing to the Warriors. Jimmy Butler goes off, Steph goes off too. It's just been a really rough few weeks. And Coach, I always say that, like, don't overreact to this sort of stuff, because it's just like the NBA and baseball. Every team goes through a few weeks where they hit a skid and then they pick it back up. Do you believe that to be the case with the Knicks?
The Knicks are not playing well, Craig, and great to be on with you as always. But they're dealing with injuries. Obviously, part of the time the Knicks have not played well over the last month was the Josh Hart injury he sustained Christmas Day in their win versus Cleveland. But now Jalen Brunson goes down to an injury. And now a lot of the question now doesn't focus on that guy, OJ Anunoby. It's focused on Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns that got really blasted by Coach Mike Woodson, what am I thinking about? Mike Brown, in not hustling back after a play against Sacramento. Then he gets punked out by Draymond. Now, listen, he did give you 20 rebounds last night and 17 points. But the question needs to ask is Karl-Anthony Towns, who makes $53 million, a legitimate number one scoring option? I think he's proven in Minnesota and now proven without Brunson at times. The answer is no. And that is a lot of money, Craig, to be paying someone to be a number two option.
Yeah, have to figure that out maybe in the offseason. But for now, the beat rolls on. Speaking of which, the Hornets have some very peculiar big wins this season. Not a good team, but they seemingly end up beating some good teams somehow. Last night, they were not a significant dog, but they beat the Lakers, 3.5-point underdogs. They win 135 to 117. Melo Ball, arguably his best game of the season or close to it. And look, those two guys on the Lakers keep scoring every time they play, Coach. Like, Luka and LeBron, they keep doing well. But the third option is where things get a little bit dicey, and we've seen J.J. Redick lose his cool a few times here in these post games. But beyond making a move, and I feel like we talk about this, Coach, every year with the Lakers, who are they going to get? Who are they going to get? When is it going to happen? And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Is that the case again at the trade deadline here for them to get better?
Let's attack both teams. Let's start with the Lakers, Craig, and they're top heavy. Let's be honest. And Rich Paul made some comments about maybe trading Austin Reaves. Here's the thing, Craig, and I'm going to say something that's pretty hot, and I talked about it last night on Game Time Decisions with our buddy Kevin Walsh. The Lakers got to move either LeBron or Austin Reaves. One of them's got to be moved. And if you're the Lakers, you have to think about, do you try and hit a home run right now, right, by trading Reaves, getting more back and trying to win now? Or do you keep Reaves with Luka, which I would do, move LeBron, and set yourself up for the future? They don't have anybody else that's, to me, a worthy commodity to get moved to make them better. So you have to move one of those two guys. Let's get to Charlotte. Craig, I was very, very, very high. I was one of the very few people that were very high on Charlotte before the season began, because I closed my eyes and said, LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Bridges, Knipple. Oh my God, that's a really good starting five. What needed to happen is they needed everyone to be healthy, including LaMelo, and LaMelo has to pick his spots, meaning when does he go off scoring, when does he pass the ball? Well, Craig, they met each other in Los Angeles, where he scored 30, got 11 assists, but Knipple gets you 19, Bridges gives you 25, Miller gives you 26. They don't have much of a bench. Kyle Burner's been pretty good. And I like Charles Lee as a coach. This team is slowly, Craig, starting to figure it out. You know that 30-point win they had at Oklahoma City. But they're young. So they're going to give you those maddening losses, but then you're going to give you wins like last night, going away versus the Lakers, and say, okay, like this team's got something here The question is can they find consistent play?
Speaking of the Lakers, big favorites to make the playoffs, but beyond that, you're throwing a dart here: 22-1 to win the West, 35-1 to win the Finals. Even Luka at this point, who was 3-1 to win the MVP, has fallen back to 6.5-1 this season. Meanwhile, Coach, let's go over the games tonight in the National Basketball Association. We'll start off with the Cleveland Cavaliers finally feeling a little bit better about themselves. We kind of know who the 76ers are. I feel like that's the case. Total 234.5. These teams, I believe, just played each other as well. So what do you make of the rematch tonight?
Well, Cleveland won 133-107 behind Donovan Mitchell's 35 points and 9 assists. But the key is getting everybody back, right? Mobley's back, Allen's back. Philadelphia's been really good. Obviously, we can talk about what has been at Tyrese Maxey, but Cleveland just hasn't gotten going yet. Maybe this is a win that kind of spearheads them and gets them going. I like Cleveland tonight. I think they could be about to start a little bit of a run here the second half of the year.
The Los Angeles Clippers are starting their run now, Coach. It does seem to me that they finally figured it out. It took a long time. We were talking about maybe dismantling everybody, not making the playoffs. I feel like they're on their way. Odds makers have adjusted. They're finally road favorites now tonight at Toronto. Total 215.5. Kawhi Leonard, in the place where he won his championship in Toronto. Does he just keep it going tonight? Because he's playing out of this world, at least at the moment.
Well, we'll see what happens. Last game they won, obviously, versus the Wizards, winning by 14 for heading on the road trip, had some guys knocked out. I was really big on this Clippers team before the season started. I think they could actually make a run. I wouldn't be surprised if they won and won outright going away at the Raptors.
And finally, the Rockets coming off their loss last night, 3.5-point favorites tonight against the Timberwolves, total 225.5, Coach. Let's end it here.
I'm concerned. I know it's back-to-back. I know they're at home. That's my concern. Timberwolves playing better basketball. No and rely on Julius Randle. I will take the points with the Minnesota Timberwolves because of the back-to-back with the Rockets, even though they did not play well last night.
All right, Coach. Have a great weekend. Thanks again.
Thanks, Craig.